We end tonight in Chicago, where students at a Catholic school had reason to celebrate. In tonight's Weekend Journal, CBS's Noel Brennan shows us how they were first in electing a local pope.
Who would you vote for?
When the mystery of the papal conclave meets a kid's imagination.
It is time for our conclave to begin.
Chicago's Our Lady of Mount Carmel Academy becomes the Sistine Chapel.
Let the Holy Spirit be with you.
Suddenly, a fourth grader like Cameron Smith
What would you do if you became pope?
feels the weight of a cardinal in Rome.
Wow, there's so many good options.
Cameron has to vote like a cardinal and think like one too.
You'd want to be it, but you don't want to be. An interesting answer.
Teachers, parents, and their parish helped plan this mock conclave.
We really have no idea who's going to get chosen.
It's up to 20 kid cardinals to pick their pope.
They need to be humble.
I think you got to be kind, respectful.
Be a pope of the people.
What makes a good pope is a pope that's holy and has a good heart for everyone.
How many votes is this going to take?
I think maybe 4 to 6, yeah.
4 to 6?
Yeah.
And we're on 2?
Yeah. We think that's not fair.
As Cameron and the Cardinals start campaigning for each other,
Augie over there.
front runners crop up.
It's going to be him.
I'm confident, but I'm not confident.
Now we have to eat because we're so stressed out.
No consensus on a pope just yet. The Cardinals have finished a snack break and are in their third round of voting.
They say we're getting very close to a pope and everyone's freaking out. It could be anyone.
The palpable papal suspense finally lifts.
Cardinal Augustus Wilk.
And it's fourth grader Augie Wilk
We did it!
who's gotten at least 2/3 of the vote.
We did it!
I learned that the Holy Spirit guide me through all my voting and to make the right choices. And I also learned it's good to have a little bit of fun, but also stay humble.
White smoke signals the news to the entire school.
Here! Round the curtains!
And in this moment, you'd swear you were in St. Peter's Square. Noel Brennan, CBS News, Chicago.
1 year ago this week, tornadoes tore across the southern and central United States. 2 people were killed in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. That's where our Dave Malkoff met 8-year-old River Garrett. His home and his life as he'd known it were shattered. Malkoff returned to Bartlesville to check on now 9-year-old Garrett and his family for tonight's Eye on America.
You're not the only tornado survivor here. Oh, watch out for the poop. On our third visit with River Garrett, accompanied by his mini horse.
This is Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. He showed us around his grandmother's brand new house in northern Oklahoma.
I was scared for my life. For not just me, like Jerry and my Mimi.
That's because 1 year ago today, on a weekend visit with his Mimi, they all survived a deadly tornado that leveled their ranch and caused $25 million in damage to the area. 2 of their neighbors died.
Look, Mimi made that when you were born.
Like many here, River's family is still sorting through the bits and pieces they were able to recover, but they consider themselves lucky. In the next town over, the mayor there told us only 5% of his community has been rebuilt since the last time we visited, and River told us this.
My mom said, and I said it to myself, that I can't make this about me.
So it's really been quite a year.
Yeah, I remember thinking that I hope we get a new house.
Well, this is your new bedroom?
Yeah, there's some old things too that survived the tornado. This is James.
Tonight will be the first night he gets to sleep here.
These walls won't be blank anymore.
What will you put on them?
Probably Michael Jackson pictures and vinyls.
How are you a different person since the tornado?
I think I'm more aware of little things that can turn into big things, but I don't always worry about that.
You don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah, I don't sweat unless it gets bigger over time like the tornado did.
Tornado activity like what River lived through has gotten significantly bigger. In the first 4 months of 2025, there were 670 tornado reports and 35 deaths in the U.S. That's more than a 43% jump in storms compared to the decade before. I've never been through what you've been through. I wonder if there's any lesson that I could learn from you.
Well, rebuilding, it takes a while, it takes hard work, but to me it's putting something back together where it is better than before.
Perhaps we can all take a lesson from River.
You know who wore that?
Me.
You.
That a little perspective can help you heal. For Eye on America, Dave Malkoff in Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
Wise young man. Finally tonight, opera singer is one of the most challenging career choices a college student can make.
Skylar Henry tells us about an effort to train the next generation of opera stars.
Their singing is powerful. These students are members of the Shared Voices program, a partnership between historically black colleges and universities known as HBCUs and America's top performing arts conservatories. Shared Voices is designed to train the next generation of opera singers. It's the creation of the mezzo-soprano opera legend, Denise Graves.
Some of the most spectacular voices that have become household names have come from HBCUs, right? So we want to tap into that to find those great, great artists who have a real shot at this.
Elliot Brown, a graduate student at an HBCU in Columbia, South Carolina, now takes classes with Lauren Torrey, a student at the Juilliard School in New York.
Why is this program so important?
I am a product of HBCUs to and through, but the access to resources is not the same.
To research underrepresented composers and present them and learn about them is a really important project that I'm really grateful for.
I really need you to stay engaged.
With coaching from experts at the top of the opera world, a new inclusive generation of talent is changing the face of the genre.
What our ultimate goal is to create a more compassionate world, one melody at a time, through the Shared Voices program.
A high note reflecting the diverse world we live in. Skylar Henry, CBS News, New York.
We end tonight with some inspiration on ice. In tonight's Weekend Journal, Marielle Mose of CBS Minnesota takes us to a rink where some history-making hockey pros have one goal: motivate the next generation.
Inside this Minnesota ice rink, girls are growing the game of hockey, with the pros cheering them on. The first of its kind professional women's hockey league launched in 2023 and has 6 teams from the U.S. and Canada, with plans to expand in coming years. It's only in its 2nd season, but it's already shattering records for women's sports. Amy Shear is the league's executive vice president of business operations.
Our attendance is up almost 35%. We hit our 1,000,000th fan 14 months into our existence, and it shows that there is a place for women's hockey in the sports ecosphere.
The league reached a new milestone this month, hosting its first Breakthrough Cup tournament, with over 600 girls 18 and under competing.
I was so excited to meet the PWHL players.
I'm Abby, how are you?
Montreal Victoire forward Abby Barine got to be back in the rink where she grew up playing.
I just want to be like the best role model for them.
Alongside Minnesota Frost goalie Maddie Rooney.
So what's it like for you to be at a tournament like this? Truly like puts a smile on my face. Like I remember when I was a youth player and was able to connect with players older than me. So the fact that I could be that to someone younger is it's really special.
The pros represent a new dream for these young players.
I want to be just like all of them. I really want to play in PWHL hockey. I want to be just like them when I grow up.
Hockey mom Heather Bushhouse drove her 3 daughters from Kansas City to Minnesota to be there.
When I was growing up, I didn't have these opportunities. I just see all of these opportunities just becoming this huge pyramid of what my kids will do, and it's really cool.
The excitement around the league felt by players and fans alike.
I cry at probably every game at some point, just because you can't believe what you're building and the reception that you're getting from fans.
And on the ice, a special moment this next generation won't soon forget.
The fact that this is truly just going to grow from here, the sky's the limit.
Growing the game and their goals. Marielle Mose, CBS News, Minneapolis.
It's not a bird. It's a plain old kid with a special talent. Here's Steve Hartman.
That is not a blue jay you're hearing, not a robin, nor a tufted titmouse. Those sounds are all coming from a Samuel, an 11-year-old Samuel Henderson.
I actually quite enjoy this.
Samuel, who is autistic and has Tourette's syndrome, can perfectly imitate 50 birds.
What's the hardest bird to do?
Probably the barn swallow.
How's that go? Do you ever think you might be a bird?
Yeah. Some people say that I swallowed birds.
But you haven't swallowed any birds.
No, well, chickens.
Okay.
The kid is a born entertainer.
Because we eat chicken.
Yeah, I know, I got it.
But since he mostly practiced his calls on the playground, alone along the back fence, a lot of kids at his Choctaw, Oklahoma school hadn't ever heard.
Until the annual Nakoma Park Intermediate School Talent Show. Samuel really wanted to compete, but no kid from special ed had ever participated. And this would be mostly singing and dancing and band instruments. So bird sounds? His mother was nervous.
Some kids can be mean. And
the thought of that happening to him on stage in front of the whole school.
It would just break my heart if that were to have happened.
But Lori says his teacher convinced her that Samuel needed to spread his wings, so to speak. So he took to the stage. At first, the other kids didn't know what to think.
It really sounded like there was a bird in the building.
Exactly like.
I was like, what is this?
This is a bald eagle.
But as he continued and laid his passion bare, jaws dropped. The crowd came alive, and Samuel was not only accepted, he was admired.
He's really brave. It takes like a lot of courage to get yourself up there.
He aced it. I don't think I saw one single kid like not clapping their hands.
The kids are roaring. I was so happy to see him living his dreams. My heart just exploded.
It's been almost a year since that talent show. And guess who now rocks the playground? Samuel. That's who.
Everyone here can do a peacock. It goes like this.
Now that's something to crow about. Steve Hartman, on the road in Choctaw, Oklahoma.
We end tonight with a success story to flip over because of one woman who introduced gymnastics to over 27,000 children nationwide. At the Harlem Armory in New York City, these athletes are being exposed to more than just gymnastics.
They see really good coaches that look like them, hair looks like them, bodies look like them, teaching them great gymnastics.
It's something Wendy Hilliard envisioned nearly 30 years ago when she launched her gymnastics foundation. You see, Hilliard knows this sport well. She was the first African American to make the U.S. rhythmic gymnastics national team back in 1978. But it's what happened in 1983 that shaped her path forward. That year, she was denied a spot in the World Championships group routine. She says a coach told her she didn't make the cut because she stood out too much. Did she actually specifically say it had something to do with your race?
She just said you stand out too much, but I got it. I was still the very few black gymnasts in the world.
Her parents went directly to the team's governing body, USA Gymnastics. It ultimately ruled the team must be based on rank. And since Wendy was in the top 6, she made the team.
It did set me on a course to then become an advocate for athletes.
An advocate for athletes like 17-year-old Tyla Morris, who started coming here when she was 11.
I always watched Gabby Douglas mostly, and I just always flipped around the house, and everyone was just telling my mom, put me in gymnastics, put me in gymnastics.
So when Tyla's mom discovered the Wendy Hilliard Gymnastics Foundation, it was a perfect fit, and Tyla was awarded a full scholarship.
Without the help of Wendy, I'm not too sure she would be able to compete or even have had the chance to be a gymnast.
Tell me about some of the goals you have for yourself.
My goal is to definitely make senior national team and the world's team, and I just want to see myself get better instead of like trying to beat someone else, just beat my past self.
And what are you going to do to get there?
I'm going to keep working hard, go to practice every day, and have determination.
I want people to understand that investing in this for kids, it's going to be making them better overall citizens of the world because they get out of their neighborhood and see other things, but also they know what hard work is and what it takes to be successful.
And what it takes to stand out for all the right reasons. And Tyla's on her way, placing first in 2 events at the state championships today.
Now Steve Hartman with some magical keys opening the door to a special kind of joy.
Cheryl Johnson.
You get the cream?
And her sportscaster husband, Ernie.
Which one's the cream, Cheryl?
Say they've had a blessed life. And as we first reported last year, they credit that to a decision they made back in 1991. That's when the Johnsons adopted this little boy from a Romanian orphanage and brought him home to Atlanta. Michael had Duchenne muscular dystrophy, an incurable disease. He also developed a feverish passion for car keys and key fobs. He used to go around to dealerships with his dad and ask if they had any extras.
He would hold them in his lap, and he would just want different ones on different days. And when he got sicker and he got on the ventilator, he even talked about the car that Jesus drives. And if you need to know, Jesus drives a red Silverado.
At the age of 33, Michael left in that bright red Chevy, leaving his parents along the side of the road, clutching photos and that extensive collection, which they have cherished.
And I know it's not him, but he held them, he loved them.
Yeah, because I have to have that memory.
Which is why Ernie and Cheryl plan to hold on to that quirky collection forever. Until last year, on the 3rd anniversary of Michael's death, when Cheryl saw a Facebook post.
The message was from another mom in the neighborhood looking for car keys and key fobs for her son, who loves to collect.
Hi-yo!
This is that boy.
I'm Cooper.
I'm Steve. Nice to meet you.
6-year-old Cooper Kivett has a developmental disorder called Williams syndrome and about a couple dozen key fobs.
There's something special to him.
Because that's just something you can't go to the store and buy.
Parents, John and Brittany, were hoping for 1 or 2 fobs for Cooper's birthday, but that's not what they got.
I just couldn't even believe it.
Michael's collection, that was so near and dear to his parents, suddenly didn't feel like it belonged to them at all.
I know this is Michael wanting Cooper to have them.
Cooper? Whoa.
After we first told this story, viewers from across the country followed the Johnsons' lead.
What do you say? People were asking us if they could send us keys that were special to them. Jaguar.
Cooper got some really fancy fobs.
I've wanted that.
But for his parents, the most prized ones will always be these. The ones from the Johnsons, who showed that although there's no right way to mourn a child, giving to others is key.
Thank you so much.
Steve Hartman, on the road, near Atlanta.
On this opening day of the baseball season, we have the story of a former major leaguer who was out to put the fun back in sports for kids and their parents. Elizabeth Cook in Seattle has tonight's Eye on America.
When Paul Dynas and his son Tanner head to the Diamond, they're no longer playing just to win. They're focused on something more important.
Told you.
Paul Dynas was, for a time, coaching Tanner's team, but now his coaching days are over.
I was a horrible, horrible parent for many years. I would follow him around the field.
And they're just like being super hard on me. And I made one error, and I got a big talking to about it.
Anna Dynas is Tanner's mom.
Every time Tanner struck out, he'd look at him, no matter what. And I'm like, he needs to stop because he's already in his head. And so now he struck out, and now he's worried about that, and he's worried about what he's thinking of him.
So you benched him?
The Dynas family had a problem and sought help from a real pro.
Who in here wants to play professional baseball?
Professional ball player Travis Snyder counsels parents to get off their kids' backs.
Snyder hammers one to center field.
After a 16-year playing career, Blue Jays, Pirates, Orioles. Now he's trying to change the culture of youth sports through his Seattle-based company, 3A Athletics.
What do you want parents, coaches, and players to know?
We want them to have a community of resources and feel like they're not alone, because being a parent is incredibly difficult, and then you throw the pressure of sports, the time, the money, the energy. It just intensifies that emotional attachment that we have to our kids, who are the things we love the most.
And here's the reality. According to the NCAA, less than 7% of high school athletes play in college, and only 2% of them make it to the pros. Snyder, now a father of 3, brings a unique perspective to coaching kids and parents. As a boy, he was the best youth player in Washington State. But as an adult, he was diagnosed with complex PTSD after a lifetime of challenging moments.
You've been very open about this moment when you're 11 years old, you're standing there on the pitching mound, you're having a great game, but all of a sudden you have a meltdown. What happened?
At the time, I was the best player on the team, so that's a lot of pressure. And then when things don't go to plan, it was just too much for my emotional regulation to be able to process that while there's 6,000 people in the stands watching me fail.
The Dynas family says they benefited directly from the lessons Travis Snyder learned. Tanner is all in on his strategy to make youth sports a learning experience, not an end game.
So, Paul, how important is winning now?
I don't care. I just want to see Tanner be happy. Winning does not matter to me. If he's happy, I'm happy, she's happy, and we go home.
Which, as a parent, may make him an even bigger winner. For Eye in America, I'm Elizabeth Cook in Seattle.
You can't hear him over the crowd, and that may be a good thing, as Auburn University coach Bruce Pearl sneers and snarls his way through yet another basketball game.
You see him on the court being tough and stuff to all the players, but there's a whole totally different side of Bruce outside of basketball, which is a nice, loving, and caring person.
As we first reported last year, Auburn sophomore Sam Cunningham's unique perspective comes from his greatest struggle. When he was 12, Sam was diagnosed with leukemia. And not long after, someone asked Coach Pearl to record a video for him.
You're gonna beat this, son. Cancer? Pick the wrong hombre. Pick the wrong dude to mess with, okay?
It was just real funny to me. Cancer picked the wrong hombre. It picked the wrong dude to mess with. That quote is what I kept with me when I got in my darkest days in the hospital and stuff.
Through all his complications,
you're gonna beat this, son.
Through his relapse,
pick the wrong hombre.
Through the days that felt like they would be his last,
pick the wrong dude to mess with.
Sam kept watching that video over and over.
Okay?
Eventually, Coach Pearl delivered the same lines in person.
Pick the wrong dude.
And they became friends. And then one day, Bruce gave him another, even more inspiring message.
Do it. You're going to get better. You're going to come to Auburn, and you're going to be my assistant. And he takes me at my word. He believed it. He did. He is.
Today, he is the team manager, and so happy to be here. In fact, Sam says Coach Pearl's encouragement may have saved his life.
That truly healed me. I didn't think I would really get to this point from all the complications I had, so that was pretty amazing. I'm just a miracle to be here right now.
It's been a year since we first told this story. Sam remains healthy, and all eyes are now on his team, the #1 seed in the tournament. But while Tiger fans pray for a championship, Coach Pearl says if God is to grant anything, victory would not be his first choice.
In my prayers, it's, God, don't let this thing relapse. Take me. Let Sam live.
Basketball seasons come and go, but the impact of great coaching lasts forever. Steve Hartman, on the road in Auburn, Alabama.
We led this broadcast Friday evening, telling you about the risk of widespread severe storms heading into the weekend.
The warning from the National Weather Service proved accurate, with at least 60 tornadoes across the south and central U.S. At least 42 people were killed in 8 states.
Most of the fatalities were in Missouri, where Jason Allen has a remarkable story of survival.
My room was right here.
That room had kept Alea Contreras safe in previous storms.
And, like, right here was where my door was.
Right here was your door?
Yeah,
And where is your door now?
over there.
As tornadoes threatened Poplar Bluff, the third grader stressed to her mom that this time they needed to go.
We've never left for a tornado until this time for some reason.
What's that reason?
My daughter waking up, freaking out, and just a gut feeling. Someone told me to leave.
Alea's mother, Kelsey Webb, rushed them to her brother's home, where the three of them huddled in a bathtub. You feel pretty lucky that something inside you this time told you to leave?
Yeah,
Because you could have been here through all of that.
we wouldn't be alive.
At least 13 tornadoes were reported this weekend across Missouri, killing 12 people. Some in Poplar Bluff may only be alive because of Jerry Moore. The pastor ran from door to door, offering shelter in his church.
So you had all those people, 20 people huddled right here?
Yeah, right here. Here's the chairs right here, if you can see them.
Moore told us a tornado passed directly overhead. It destroyed the church, but spared everyone inside.
It was a shock to see all this gone here, where we just had services a week ago Sunday, but now we come back and it's total devastation.
And Jason Allen joins us now from Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Smart young girl there, Jason. You've covered many storms over the years, but this one certainly seemed a bit different, didn't it?
It really did, Maurice. This was a very narrow path of damage, maybe stretching across the street, the houses on both sides. And often when I've seen those storms over the years, it means a tornado of lesser intensity, EF zeros and ones, as evidenced by the damage in the church behind me. And this is where the pastor sheltered with people. This was a narrow tornado, but still incredibly violent.
Steve Hartman went on the road where some muscle car drivers proved that their most powerful muscle is their heart. Powerful enough to lift a kid's spirits.
Sometimes wearing rainbow colors isn't about orientation or politicization. Sometimes a rainbow is just a rainbow. Like when 10-year-old Hunter Blankenship picked out his glasses. This car-loving autistic boy wasn't making a statement. He just loved the look. Until the day he didn't.
He hated them. He wanted to break them.
And that's all because of that one bully.
Megan Fancher,
Unfortunately,
is Hunter's mom. And she says a few months ago, Hunter was outside playing when an older kid teased him about his glasses, called him a homophobic slur, and then told Hunter he should just kill himself.
Hunter took that literally.
Literally. All of a sudden, he stormed off, and he's holding a knife. And I was like, no. What are you doing? He said, I'm going to kill myself.
Hunter spent the next 2 weeks on the psychiatric floor here at the Children's Hospital in Birmingham. And just before his release, his mother, desperate for some way to show Hunter that people care and life can be joyful, posted this small request. Could we arrange a few people to bring cars and trucks to let him see?
See if I can get 4 or 5 cars to just come down my driveway when he comes home. That would have been more than enough for him.
But that's not what you got.
That is not what we got.
What they got was Sergio Sanchez, a local restaurant owner here in Clanton, Alabama, who saw the post and put word out to car clubs.
Cars all the way from North Alabama to South Alabama, they literally had to shut down downtown.
They shut down downtown?
Yes.
Roughly 1,500 show cars showed up, along with more than 1,500 friends that Hunter never knew he had.
He was, oh, there's my favorite person, there's my other favorite person. We're running to everybody.
And all of them big fans of rainbow-colored glasses, which Hunter now wears proudly.
There you go.
Thanks to that gathering of car collectors driven to make a difference.
It did. It saved his life.
Steve Hartman, on the road in Clanton, Alabama.
At a time when college is unaffordable for many people, some schools are reimagining higher education, shifting their curricula from general knowledge to providing free training for specific jobs and giving new meaning to working your way through school. Mark Strassman has tonight's Eye on America from Merced, California.
This is Live Oak Farms in California's San Joaquin Valley. 3,000 acres of tomatoes, peppers, almonds, and alfalfa. Carlos Marquez, a quietly ambitious guy, started here 10 years ago as a day laborer. Today, he's the operations manager while a full-time college student.
Is this your classroom?
This is it right here.
He's in a pilot program funded by a federal grant and offered free to students by Merced College. In its competency-based curriculum, students such as Marquez master vocational skills.
Identify the hydraulic controls.
Right here.
Perfect.
Agriculture is only one area. Others include education and healthcare. It's real life, hands-on, rather than the traditional college classroom experience.
We know that the traditional model can be antiquated in some ways. So what can we do to upskill them, to prepare them for 21st century jobs?
Merced College President Chris Vitelli developed the program for the school.
What to you about the program is innovative?
They come to us, they master a skill, and then they move on to the next one.
You can actually go to school and make money.
You can.
In this program.
You can. I mean, this program is designed so our students can have a part-time job. They can have a full-time job.
With the soaring cost of college, it's probably no surprise more than 40% of full-time students have a job while they're in school. But at a cost. They're roughly 20% less likely to finish their degree. As a non-traditional college student, Carlos Marquez can work and study, making $1,300 a week. A big help for the 32-year-old father of two.
You get in, get the training, and then you just keep on building from there.
There are now more than 1,000 of these programs at colleges across the country. 82% of them expect the number of those programs to grow.
It's incumbent on us to find ways to meet their needs, not the opposite way around.
Marquez started traditional college when he was 18. He didn't like it and couldn't afford it when his scholarships ran out. Now he can earn an industry-recognized certificate with added fuel to finish.
I'm first generation. Being able to accomplish that, get that, and then, be an example for my daughters. I mean, that's where it's at.
On a farm or off, that's growth. For Eye on America, Mark Strassman in Merced, California.
When Marquez finishes the program in May, his employer has committed to giving him a 10% raise. Other Merced partners have agreed to put graduates on a track to become managers.
The way a young boy chose to celebrate one more trip around the sun made the day a whole lot brighter. Here's Steve Hartman with the birthday party on the road.
It's the one time of year it's okay to be selfish. When it's your birthday, it's all about you. And kids have been basking in that blessing for as long as we've had candles. But for 9-year-old Grant Mullen of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, his last party struck a very different tone. Grant's dad, Mark.
Absolutely, yeah. We asked him, what would you like to do for your birthday? Who do you want to invite? What do you want? It just couldn't have been better than what he said.
What he said in a moment.
The most perfect answer ever.
But first, how he came to it. Last year, Mark began volunteering at SNR, a recreation center for people with special needs. Yep. And not long after he started, he got Grant to volunteer as well.
It's so important to get your children involved at a young age. It really makes a huge difference.
Exhibit A, Grant's wish. To invite everyone at SNR to his birthday party.
Why?
Because they don't get invited to birthdays. Sometimes people don't get as much love. And it's sad.
It's nice to see you changing that.
Thank you. Hey, Crystal.
His party was last September, But they all stopped by again this week at our request.
Would you like something to drink? We have root beer, Sprite, or water.
The parents confirmed that a lot of their kids don't get invited to birthday parties. But as they mingled, it became clear that Grant wasn't just being kind when he sent out those invitations.
Cheers.
He truly wanted them here.
Anytime you can, just call my mom and you can come.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. They are nicer, kinder. They don't get mad all the time.
That feeling is mutual.
He's my best friend.
I just love him. He's my brother.
Grant is an amazing friend.
And with friends like these, who needs presents?
Do you even need to ask him what he wants to do for his 10th birthday?
Probably not.
Bye, Mitch.
Steve Hartman, on the road.
Bye, Crystal.
In Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Bye, guys.
In tonight's In Depth, we focus on the resilience of children. The wildfires across Southern California destroyed thousands of homes and temporarily closed hundreds of schools. CBS's Danya Backus found a camp that is helping these kids rebuild what the fires took away.
Thumbs up! Thumbs up! Wrists together! Wrists together!
This may look like your typical kids camp, with everything from arts and crafts to jump rope. But there's more at play here.
There'll be two kids drawing and one will look up and say, I lost my house, did you? And the one will go, yup. And then they just keep drawing.
Once you're done, you can share the puzzle with Olivia.
Every child at Project Camp in Los Angeles has been impacted by the recent wildfires. At 9-year-old Rose McCabe's Altadena school, all that's left is the sign.
What have you heard about what's happened and why school is closed?
It's because there was a fire and our whole school burnt down. And like my friend Olivia's school burned down, same as my sister's friend's school burned down.
How does it make you feel to know that that's what happened?
Well, really sad because it's like I don't really know like what's going to happen. What is the new school we're going to?
Saffron Scarbeck is in 4th grade.
My house didn't burn, but my friend's house is burned, and it kind of feels like my house burned.
Do you guys talk about what's happening, or do you just kind of, continue to play and do all the fun things that you would normally do?
It's kind of both. Sometimes we continue with our lives, and sometimes we kind of talk about it.
Project Camp operates all over the country, materializing within days in communities hit by natural disasters.
What we do is we pop up day camps anywhere in the country in 48 hours.
Ozzie Barron is co-founder and deputy director.
Our entire program is trauma-informed, which means while these kids are running around having a great time, there's a lattice work of trauma-informed care underneath it. So the program is designed to help these kids process in ways natural to kids. They process through play. They process through talking to one another.
Karen McKay brings both Rose and her little sister.
I know for kids that what they need is normal play. They need other children. When I heard about this, it was like, okay, the kids are going to be okay.
A place to rebuild community when so much is lost. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Finally, Super Bowl hype is becoming a learning opportunity for a group of schoolgirls looking to improve their math skills. In tonight's Weekend Journal, Eva Anderson of CBS Philadelphia takes us to class.
In this classroom, math meets Eagles mania.
And we're going to write a number down to think how much the Eagles will win by.
There's no room for doubt.
Right, because we know we're winning.
Students confidently crunch the Birds' margin of victory.
What do you think a final score would be? We have 60-40.
It's all part of the nonprofit Black Girls Love Math, a program applying math to real life.
Now I want to know how many inches are in 1 yard.
This week's theme, the Super Bowl. Students decode the Roman numerals LIX.
How can we figure out how to make 59 into Roman numerals? So how can we convert it? Rihanna, what you think?
The I in front of the X means that it is 10 minus 1, which makes it 9.
They also learn how touchdowns paired with field goals could stack the scoreboard by multiples of 7.
14.
21. 9-year-old Jaylee Singleton says this program makes weekend school worth it.
It's pretty fun and encouraging.
That supportive atmosphere is exactly what Executive Director Atia Harmon wants to create.
To give them a safe space where they can feel loved and cared for, and not if they're got right and wrong. How can you solve these on the board?
The nonprofit aims to boost Black women in STEM, but even aspiring lawyers like Rihanna Manhertz see the value.
Math is really vital
for, you know, any career, actually, because you can file taxes, you need math.
Like the birds, these girls embody team spirit.
It's like we're one big community.
A community united by numbers and a love for the birds. Eagles! Eva Anderson, CBS News, Philadelphia.
A group of kids in Phoenix share some holiday kindness. Here's CBS's Steve Hartman on the road.
The red caps were the only clue. The only hint that something Christmas was afoot.
Here we go.
Something that would soon strike straight to the heart.
Are you guys serious?
As we first reported last year, the kids responsible for these moments of joy are students and former students of Derek Brown.
Also, lights, please.
A Phoenix elementary teacher who uses our on-the-road stories to teach kindness and character. A perennial favorite,
Merry Christmas.
Secret Santa. That wealthy businessman who every year gives out hundreds of $100 bills to random strangers.
I was like shocked because, well, who does that?
I've never seen anyone like just give money away like that.
Could you imagine that someday it would be you?
No, not ever.
And so, with guidance from Mr. Brown,
I sent everybody an itinerary.
The kids started a Secret Santa club and began fundraising, calling friends, family, and businesses. They raised $8,000 without any help from their school or district, just so they could turn around and give it all away.
It's okay.
To people like Rosemarie Hernandez. Rosemarie had been out of work for a week.
You will give me a lot of relief. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys. Oh my God.
You get so many feelings in your body that just makes you like want to do it again.
Which is why, a few weeks ago, they did it again. This time with even more students, handing out even more money.
Oh my God.
They gave out $10,000 this season, but received something priceless.
Their joy, that's the gift to you.
Exactly the realization Mr. Brown was hoping for.
I want this memory to be so strong that it now drives them every day in everything they do. Did today change you?
Definitely. I never felt this way in my life. So this was really a life changer for me.
Whoever said money can't buy happiness, obviously, never gave it away. Steve Hartman, on the road in Phoenix.
God bless you too.
CBS's Steve Hartman's on the road tonight, putting a bow on the week with a story of a very special gift.
It hit him out of the blue. Francis Aproku, custodian at James Madison High School in Vienna, Virginia, says he was walking through a parking lot earlier this month when he saw something that literally brought him to his knees.
My leg started shaking. I can't stand. I can't stand. I was panicking, and I have to get myself on the floor, and I was crying.
You were crying?
Yeah.
Hey guys, get him up. He's okay.
Laid out, flat on the pavement, crying, tears of joy. The trail of these happy tears starts here with a group of sophomore football players. The boys used to chat with Francis outside their weight room.
These are my people.
Eventually, those conversations led to friendships.
May God bless you guys all.
With students like Bennett Hishman, Nick Tiberthopoulos, and Logan Georgeless.
He's always just such a nice person.
If we were to have a bad day, he'd be the first guy. I'd be like, hey, are you okay, you know? And we're like, I mean, let's do something nice for him. No one else is going to.
And that's when they asked Francis, if you could have one splurge, what would you buy?
I said, what? Why do you want to know?
Did you answer their question?
Yeah.
What'd you tell them?
I told them that my heart desire is a Jeep Wrangler.
A Jeep Wrangler?
Yes. That's why I'm trying to work hard.
Francis sends money to his relatives in Ghana. He's squeezed for cash. Getting that car was nothing but a pipe dream. So the boys started a fundraising campaign. All on their own they did this. And within just 4 months, they'd raised $22,000. Enough for a nice 2015 Jeep Wrangler. Francis was so surprised to see those wheels. he started rolling.
That's your car, man. That's your car. That's your car. It got a little to the point where it was like, is he okay? Making sure he's okay, and we helped him up.
And then we finally got him in the car, and he's just in disbelief.
It was incredible.
I will never, ever forget today.
Not because of the car, he says, but because of the kids.
I can't believe this in America. Only America.
Only in America.
America is a great country. May God bless America.
And God bless the Jeep Wrangler.
Exactly, you got it.
Steve Hartman on the road in Vienna, Virginia.
Finally, tonight's Heart of America. Meet Time Magazine's Kid of the Year, 15-year-old Heman Bekele. He won the honor for his innovative soap, which could someday be used to treat and prevent skin cancer, even after the soap is washed away. The Ethiopian immigrant says his idea sprouted from early memories of workers in the hot sun with no skin protection. His invention also earned him a $25,000 prize in the 3M Young Scientist Challenge. The young innovator says great ideas can come from humble beginnings.
Every big breakthrough in this world really did start with just a small idea. Whatever this idea might be, just go for it. Take that shot in the dark. It will be worth it.
We agree, and that's why Heman Bekele is tonight's Heart of America. Finally, another year of summer camps have come and gone, but in tonight's Heart of America, we want to highlight a special place in Idaho where all kids can have fun in the sun no matter their medical conditions. CEO Elizabeth Lisberg explains Camp Rainbow Gold.
What we witness is magical. It's love made visible. Camp Rainbow Gold is a nonprofit here in Idaho that supports children that have been diagnosed with cancer and their families. It's a place that they get to come and they don't have to say a word and they're understood. We have been, until very recently, having to turn kids away due to capacity issues. And just recently, we got to experience contractors coming together. A local builder came out and built 6 more cabins for us in 3 days. So we now no longer have to turn away kids. So it's so much more than just coming and having fun. We do it through fun. But the value of these kids coming to camp is that acceptance and that opportunity to just be a kid.
Always thinking about kids and cancer. The kids and the staff at Camp Rainbow Gold are tonight's Heart of America. Finally, tonight, CBS's Steve Hartman goes on the road for a story about sharing history and finding friends.
If you ever ask 98-year-old Janine Ober-Ottman how she stays so positive, especially after all she's been through, here's what she'll sing to you.
Whatever will be, will be.
Once a week, Janine brings her que sera mindset to this most somber setting, the Illinois Holocaust Museum in Skokie, Illinois. Her attitude made possible in part by her partner at the museum information booth, a 14-year-old boy named Dylan Stanley.
So good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Happy
When you saw him today, you got a big smile on your face.
because I was so happy to see him.
She does that every week. It makes me very happy. Would you like to talk to Janine? She's a Holocaust survivor and she's willing to answer any of your questions.
Janine and Dylan met about 1.5 years ago. Janine had been volunteering here at the museum since it opened.
Dylan had just started volunteering to learn more about the Holocaust. And when they sat together at that table, it was love at first listen. It's amazing to hear from someone who's witnessed it firsthand.
He's kind enough to bear with me.
It's not bearing with you. It's fascinating to learn about your stories, and we need to learn about your stories in order to prevent them from happening again.
Of course, at this point, Dylan has heard her stories 100 times about life in the Jewish ghettos in occupied Poland.
People are thrown out on the street.
And then taken to Germany by the Nazis.
To forced labor.
And yet, he's always willing to listen once more.
Janine, do you want to tell me your story again? How come you don't tell her, I've already heard your story once?
Because she finds it comforting to tell people her story.
For Dylan, what started out as curiosity has evolved into compassion, ensuring that for these two, whatever will be together.
Que será, será.
Steve Hartman on the road
Que será, será.
in Skokie, Illinois.
C'est fini.
Finally, tonight's Heart of America. On opening day this year, just 6% of players were Black, the fewest in decades, according to the MLB. And as the country celebrates Jackie Robinson's legacy today, a group in Chicago is working to give the next generation of Black players a chance at living their field of dreams. Here's CBS's Charlie DeMar.
77 years after Jackie Robinson blazed the trail for Black players, coaches like Ernest Horton know the work is far from over.
If the grassroots are suffering and there's no baseball being played in the communities, of course it's not going to be Black baseball players in the MLB.
Horton is a public schools teacher in Chicago.
I can see it there.
He started Black Baseball Media, an organization giving players from predominantly underserved communities access to top-notch facilities and exposure to college scouts.
Seeing is believing. Everyone's drinking the Kool-Aid.
High school senior Kamari Thomas will play in college. So will Demir Heidelberg, aiming to follow in the footsteps of current Black big leaguers. But the teens say there are often barriers.
What difference does that make, having that access?
It's a huge difference because usually kids like with my skin color, they can't get into it because they don't either have the money or they don't have the exposure to it.
What message does that send to you? How does that sit?
It's time for everybody to get their boots on the ground. It's time to unite. We can't sit here on the sideline and complain about it.
Bridging baseball's racial divide for the next generation. Charlie DeMar, CBS News, Crestwood, Illinois.
We need more coaches like Ernest Horton, and that's why he's tonight's Heart of America.
Now a story about the Easter Bunny. No, not that one. I'm talking about real rabbits here. In tonight's Weekend Journal, no bunny knows the story quite like CBS's Itai Hod.
Just before Easter, Ben Vanderveer, a father of two, found himself in a hair-raising predicament.
You tell your kids that you're going to look at a house full of bunny rabbits, and that dominates the attention and discussion for the day.
Last year, 9-year-old Delphine and 5-year-old Adrian visited relatives who had a bunny. Since then, it's all they talk about.
Let's go.
Which is why Ben decided to take a leap of faith.
The little black nose.
Heading to a rabbit rescue just north of San Francisco for a little bunny bonding.
Good girl.
Save a Bunny founder Marcy Berman says a lot of parents get their kids bunnies for Easter, but raising a rabbit is a lot of work.
My good girl.
It's why rescues get full about 2 weeks after Easter, just as the novelty of having a bunny wears off.
It's been a super crisis in the Bay Area, and it's probably only going to get worse.
According to PETA, about 80% of rabbits bought for Easter will die or be abandoned within the first year.
These rabbits are not wild, and so when you set a bunny free, you're just really feeding the wildlife.
To try and combat the problem, Save a Bunny now offers a foster to adopt program, essentially giving people a trial run for bunny parenthood.
She's about a year old.
At the end of the day, the Vanderveers fall in love with Yvette, a mini lop rabbit with floppy ears.
Are you excited about getting a bunny?
Yes. Sure. Yeah.
As for Delphine and Adrian, they're jumping for joy now that they've found some bunny to love.
Isn't pretty?
Itai Hod, CBS News, Mill Valley, California.
Finally tonight, we've got the story of a West Virginia teenager who in every way is one for the books. Here's CBS's Scott McFarland.
In Hardy County, West Virginia, 18-year-old Rania Zori is donating books to Head Start kids.
This is your book to keep.
In her gap year before college, she's created a nonprofit to collect and donate books to low-income communities.
I love my blue shoes.
But she's also made the history books. In this year of stalemates in Congress, Zori managed to author a formal resolution passed by the U.S. Senate Did you recognize what a challenge it is right now to get Congress to do anything?
It's a time of such political polarity and everybody's fighting with each other, but everyone could come together to support early childhood literacy.
She studied how to write her resolution, which formally acknowledges Early Childhood Literacy Awareness Day.
I went through every single resolution.
Every single
like for
resolution.
a commemorative day, since 2018.
Her effort got her home state senator's attention.
She wanted to share it.
Never too young to do this stuff.
Never too young to share.
And together they lobbied for her bill.
It basically tells you what the country is all about and what our form of government's all about, what we're supposed to be doing. It's for the people, not for the parties.
I want a book! Yes!
A book lover already writing her own story. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Moorfield, West Virginia.
Finally, tonight's Heart of America. Meet two teenagers who know a thing or two about real girl power. For the second straight year, Florida high school seniors Nicole Camano and Ariana Durham won 2 gold medals each in this month's girls weightlifting state championships. Their uplifting story is inspiring everyone on and off the mat. Camano's lifts came with a heavy heart.
My father passed away 4 days before states, and now I get to live his legacy and his life through me and do amazing things that impact other people and inspire people.
She broke the state record by lifting 255 pounds and now has her eyes set on the Olympics. And Ariana Durham wants girls to know they have a world of options.
I'm hoping that if other little girls are seeing and watching, they're like, I want to do that, because anything is possible and you're not limited to what anybody says.
Oh, we're watching. You go, girls.
You may walk to recess.
At the Trinity Leadership School near Dallas, Sonia White's first graders were flying high
Come all the way back and walk.
because, as we first reported a few months ago, they had just taken an amazing field trip.
Where are you going?
Mexico.
To Mexico. I love your outfit.
It was my first time on a plane. We went inside a cloud. I saw the ocean.
Is that your first time seeing the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you've got to be wondering, how could a school afford this? What kind of teacher does it take to fly a class of first graders to Mexico for a day? A very clever one. So just to be clear, you did not go to Mexico.
We did not.
You did not get on a plane.
We did not.
You never left the class.
We did not.
What you're about to see is a testament to the power of imagination and the magic teachers have to harness it.
Okay, let's find out.
After Sonia's students told her their one wish was to fly on a plane, she went full throttle on the pretend.
Boarding pass and your passport, please.
Created travel documents for each child, and then boarded them on their flight to Mexico.
Okay, guys, we are now at 13,000 feet. You may take out a snack.
We had a little turbulence. Boy, it did not scare me. But my friend Lorenzo had a rough landing.
Really? What happened to him?
He was like...
The buy-in really was remarkable.
One of my students saw somebody that night and they said, "What are you doing here? I thought you were in Mexico." And he said, "Yeah, we were. We got back at 3. And that's when I was like, they really think we went to Mexico.
After we first told that story, Southwest Airlines invited the class to its Dallas headquarters to step inside a real plane.
Welcome aboard.
Experience tray tables and safety cards, and begin to wonder where in the world their imaginations might take them next.
Did this fuel your desire for more travel?
Yes. Do you know North Korea?
Yeah, sure.
Probably I do not want to go to next.
I guess even pretend flights come with travel warnings.
Yes.
Steve Hartman, on the road, near Dallas.
Finally tonight, attending a new school can be difficult for anyone. But for one teenager in Tennessee, walking into his new school completely changed his life. Here's CBS's David Begnaud.
Meet 15-year-old Sergio Peralta. He's the new kid at school, and he started the year with a secret.
In the first days of school, I honestly felt like hiding my arm in my sleeve. Like, nobody will ever find out, you know?
I would, flex this joint.
You see, Sergio was born with a hand that didn't fully form. So a teacher at the Hendersonville High School engineering program found out, and he told him, My students might be able to help you. And that's when 3 of them did something special.
Well, they ended up offering me, like, we could build you a prosthetic hand. And I never expected it. Like, never in a million years I expected it.
With access to online models and a 3D printer, these teenagers, who didn't even know if their plan would work, hit a home run.
When I caught it the first time, everyone started freaking out because, like, it was the first time I caught a ball in my right hand in 15 years.
Look, school can be cruel, but these kids, they did the coolest and the kindest thing.
They changed my life, you know.
For their newest peer. David Begnaud, CBS News.